and LinkedIn, and we're talking about pressure today. And actually, before I talk about pressure and myth busting pressure, it's November. It's November. And how much pressure have we put on ourselves this year? How much pressure are we now putting on ourselves because it's November and we're like either so far from our goals that we're just going to put all the pressure on, or maybe we are hitting our goals and we're like, let's do more, and we're putting more pressure on. And this is why I'm calling November No-vember for a reason. No, what are the things in life that we deserve to say no to that aren't in alignment to our desires to actually experience not just more fulfillment in 2024, but also carrying that momentum into 2025. Because how we do anything is how we do everything. And at the end of the day, this is where we got to really take a pause or a sigh of relief and say, wow, where am I putting the pressure on myself? Where am I allowing others, culture, society to put the pressure on me? Where am I allowing my clients or my spouse or my kids or my neighbors or my besties to put the pressure on? Because nobody can apply pressure to you or your life without your permission. You're like, but I'm not allowing that person to do that. I'm not allowing that person to aggravate me or frustrate me. Yes, you are. You wouldn't be frustrated, right? Or you wouldn't be aggravated. So that's what this episode is today. Today is really about how can we really embrace November as a month to not just reflect back, look at your notes from your Power the Reset journal prompts that you've been using every single month consistently, and look back at those. Where did you grow? Where did you thrive? Where did you give your power away? Where did you stand in your power and tap into that next level of confidence and clarity and commit to the things you know you're capable of, even when you're a little bit nervous or scared, even when you're a little bit unsure of what the next step is, the how, but you're super clear on who you are to be and what you stand for because you had a vision activation. If you haven't had one of those yet, it's never too late. I do them every single week for my clients and new clients especially. Maybe you're not clear on that vision. Maybe you totally want to shift the vision that you have into something more juicy, right? So we're really diving into November with this concept of grace and space to recalibrate, to reevaluate what momentum we're deciding to take into 2025. And it starts for me in my world in October. But if some of you didn't do that yet, it's okay. We're not blaming or shaming. It's not right or wrong. Some people like to wait till January, and that's fine too. But start to make this a routine that then you can be super intentional with. This is ROI, return on intention, so that the investments you're putting out there with your energy, your time, your money, your resources, your attention, the quality of your attention and the quality of how you respond to the world versus just react, is giving you the experience of a magnetic and multiplied ROI in both business and life. All right, so I want to myth bust here. This is what I'm talking about. Myth bust the idea that diamonds are made from coal. And I used to share this. It's like, allow the pressure. I thrive under pressure. I do. But if I don't strategically apply a reset, a recalibration, a recharge, I will burn out. I know because I've done it twice. Yes, it took me twice to learn my lesson, not just once, because I thought I could just do it again and not burn out. How we do anything is how we do everything. And what we're not changing, we're choosing. The only thing scarier than change is what? Regret. Regret. And most of our regret comes from not taking the action or making the decision or committing to something that's creating fulfillment in our life. That's it. It's really simple. We've just overcomplicated it. So this idea, diamonds are made from coal, is a myth. Both coal and diamonds are made of carbon. So I'm just going to put on my geeky hat just here for a second. And it's the arrangement of the carbon, of the atoms in each substance, that makes coal different from diamonds, both chemically and physically and visually, right? In so many ways. Diamonds are formed under intense pressure, heat, deep inside the earth, and they can take up to billions of years for a diamond to form naturally, which is why diamonds, which I love, I wear my same signature ones every single day, are rare, right? And cost more than coal, right? And we do things with diamonds differently than what we do with coal. So the myth that diamonds come from coal may have originated from TV shows, movies, comic book. I think Superman was one thing that was mentioned when I did my research. But I can tell you that even in intense heat and pressure, that carbon under the surface of the Earth's mantle creates those diamonds. While coal can be made of carbon, it contains lots of other impurities, obviously, which is why it's dark, and makes it impossible for diamonds to be formed from coal. So there's your fun fact for today. And it's like, I'm out to now in this stage of my life to myth bust some of these things our culture and society has put on the pedestal or has said, hey, I'm giving you a trophy because you were under pressure and you were resilient. Okay, maybe once, but like how we do anything is how we do everything. So if you're hustling and grinding to maintain your success, that's the same energy that's going to be required to sustain and maintain that level of success and or more, which is why in 2025, I'm releasing a mastermind that's going to be talking about 11x and elevation and impact and influence and income. And how do we expand into that elevation without burning out, without adding more pressure, while leaning into possibility and potentiality. So if you are interested in that, just DM me or message me the word elevate or 11x at any time. And I'm starting the waitlist now, and this will be capped. I really want this to be a strong, intimate group where we're leaning in on the who and being very picky about the types of people so that every person can actually benefit from the other person. And we will accelerate results faster that way. So didn't mean to plug that there. Actually, that was totally unintentional, but totally worth it. And love for you to be ahead of the game if that's what you so choose. So I've decided to go deeper into this self-imposed pressure. I'm going to talk about the self-imposed pressure at a later podcast time, because as I was writing my notes for this specific talk today, it ended up being like too long. There was so much information when I was reflecting upon what I wanted to share and what deserves its own podcast episode. So that will be the last episode this month. Specifically speaking to my high performers, my high achievers, my business owners, my coaches, my consultants, who actually have benefited from pressure before, who actually have felt their strongest when they've been under pressure. Hello, that's me. That's my clients. This is what I still am working through almost every single week, if not daily sometimes. And so what I've noticed with myself and my clients is that there are more than just a couple of methods that I can share with you. So I'm going to save that for the last episode of November. Today, we're going to talk about and focus on the society expectations, those expectations and pressure that we allow from external influences to cloud our goals, limit our growth. And I want to explore some ways that you can actually give yourself permission to recommit, to redefine your commitments, right? We can decide all day, but nothing happens until we commit and take that action, and creating room and space for what you truly desire and not just want to experience here in the rest of 2024 and beyond. So here we go. Number 1, reconnect with your vision. Yes, I mentioned this at the start of the call. Vision activation. Take a moment. Remember why you're doing what you're doing, what you stand for, what you don't. And hello, we just had an election. So this was very loud in our culture. Like, what do you stand for? What do you not stand for? Whose side are you on? Who's right and wrong? Which nobody's right or wrong. Like, can we all just agree to disagree sometimes? And honestly, I love when people disagree with me, because then I expand my knowledge, my perception, my perspectives, and my growth happens faster. I embrace that. I encourage it with quality question asking. It's respectful and kind, and not me trying to push my beliefs onto somebody else, right? But what I can tell you is that when you align from your vision rather than from society's norms that are old and outdated, by the way, you can actually stay on track with actually what matters most to you, because your vision is anchored in what? Your values, and what is actually going to provide fulfillment And I have dogs being crazy right now in my office. So I'm going to just pretend like that didn't happen. A whole lighting thing just fell over, but I'm not sure if people noticed. So going back to with your clear vision, you can actually debunk society's old beliefs, old expectations. You can debunk the workplace expectations, like what are your coworkers, your clients, if you have a boss, if you are the boss, that you're actually agreeing to, whether it's unspoken agreement or a verbal agreement. And maybe we need to go back and clean up some commitments around that, right? And so if you need help with this, like I said, I do vision activations. And for the month of November, I am actually doing this at a discount. So just again, message me November and I will send you a code for the vision activation, or tell me that you want the vision activation at the November investment. So without a clear vision, how are you going to decide? Well, based on somebody else. It's a fact. When we were little, we made our decisions based on what our parents taught us, based on how they influenced us and our beliefs and our thoughts and our choices, right? And we either liked the result or we didn't. We either rebelled or we followed suit. And neither is right or wrong, good or bad. It's just what it is. So without this clear vision, you are really leaving a lot to chance on how you decide. And this will forever be influenced either by your past or your old ways of being, instead of stepping into potential possibility of your new future self, where all your dreams and visions and desires live. So if you have allowed this to happen in the past, and what you've recognized, what has allowed you to become successful from the past, but is not unlocking what is next level possibility and potential, especially without the pressure, then this is where it becomes super, super critical. So I'm going to say this one last time and I'm going to move on to the next one. But this has to land, because so many people are like, Jackie, I want the strategy. Jackie, I want the method. Jackie, I want the affirmations. I want the journal prompts. I want the secret. Like, what's the one thing I should do every day? How long should I meditate? Where should I be focusing my attention? Should I hire this out? Should I just do it this way? How quickly can I get this stuff all the time in my messaging and in my coaching with my clients? So again, without this clear vision, how you decide and what you experience in life will forever be influenced by your past self and old ways, patterns, behaviors of thinking, being, and living, which may have allowed you to be successful in the past in a long period of time frame that you carried the success, or a short period of time frame and you want more of it. Either way, you're listening to this because you probably desire more and you're not sure how to get there. So what unlocks next level possibility potential without the pressure is having that clear vision, having the courage and the clarity to unlock that. And I help people all the time with that. And I love it. It's my favorite part. Number 2 is setting intentional boundaries. I am the boundaries queen. I will shout that from the rooftops till the day I die. My loved ones know this. My friends know this. Like, there are times where they're like, yep, here comes somebody from our special group and they're complaining about something. Watch what Jackie does. I deflect or I remove myself, or I give them 3 to 5 minutes, but I'm very honest. Hey, sounds like there's something going on in your world. Would you like to share? Would you like to come up with a solution? Or would you just like me to be a soundboard and not say anything and just be a friend in the moment? And I have a timer because I am allergic to victimhood. It's just ingrained in my DNA for so long, ever since I've had lots of tragedies and deaths early on in my life, that it's like, no, it doesn't have to be the way. Everything is figure outable. So this was my secret sauce back when I was Make It Happen Mac in my coaching era. Boundaries are required in order for one to live out their truth based on what they value. Boundaries protect both your energy, your focus. ROI, return on intention, is supported by the boundaries. If you don't have boundaries, you're probably lacking ROI in both business and life, and your fulfillment and success. Define what you're willing to accept and where you'll draw the line. This might mean creating no work after hours. I have so many like unspoken rules that have become spoken rules so that nobody feels like they're being pinpointed in my personal life as well as my professional life. Blocking specific times for the week for uninterrupted personal time, self-care, which I'm going to talk about here soon. And then boundaries also set the tone for balance and sustainable productivity without what? Without the pressure. Number 3 is prioritize recovery and reset. This is essential, essential. And I neglected this for so long. And now that I'm in my almost mid 40s, I really embrace this because I burn out twice. Burnout prevention is about knowing when to recharge before the burnout. Pressure is the number one cause of burnout. So schedule, prioritize your self-care. Like it has to be a priority. Some people schedule it, but they don't prioritize it, right? So don't just try engaging in activities that are not tied to achievement, but pick something and prioritize it. This could be a new hobby. This could be relaxation. This could be nature. This could be being curious and creative and doing something that just feels so good, that has no pressure behind it, for sure. Because I know there's been times I've even been in a creative mode and wanting to create or produce something, and I had this pressure on myself, and it was like, why am I putting this pressure on myself? Nobody else is expecting anything, and they know it's going to be great, right? So remember, high quality rest. High quality rest. This is what's actually required before I do a vision activation for anyone. They're like, how do I prepare? What can I do? What journal prompts do you have? What questions are you going to ask? The only thing required for a vision activation is a good night's sleep, and be willing and open and curious to tap in and tune in. And then the rest I'll take care of on the call. So that's what we talk about. We're talking about being essential, is that priority of recovery and reset. And this will actually produce even higher quality performance for my high performers and overachievers like myself. Number 4 is challenge perfectionism, because it doesn't exist. And I'm a recovering perfectionist. So recognize that perfectionism is a freaking trap. It's almost like a hamster wheel. Kind of gets you nowhere, but it keeps you busy. It often brings in more pressure and less fulfillment. I know firsthand as a recovering perfectionist that instead, when I focus on excellence over perfection, and taking consistent steps forward, celebrating wins, big and small, and allowing room for what? Growth, possibility, potentiality, pleasure, play. Excellence is sustainable. Perfection is not. Excellence is sustainable. Perfection is not. So just swap it out. One of my favorite questions that I use daily is, how can I just be a little bit better today? Just a little bit better, versus be my best, be my best, be my best. That feels like pressure to be my best every day. But if I'm just a little bit better each day, it can feel light, it can feel fun, it can feel flowy, expansive, and I allow the curiosity to lead the way. Number 5 is engaging in self-reflection, not comparison. And if this slides you into imposter syndrome, I have a free guide on that. Go grab it, because imposter syndrome is not something that just goes away one day. It will pop up momentarily at any time. And if you have the right tools and frameworks to combat it and use it as a actual benefit tool to shine that spotlight on where we can do some more inner work, it can be so beneficial. So share your goals, your vision, your challenges with people who genuinely support you. This is where it sometimes can be hard, because we get excited and we want to talk about things with people that we know support us, but in a different way. Especially when you're in the online space. I remember it was like the Wild Wild West, like 15 years ago, when I would tell people, what do you do online? What? My parents didn't even understand. My husband was like, what are you doing? Oh, you're making money. Okay, cool. Is it legal? And I just laugh, because I'm like, yes. And it's high integrity, and I'm changing people's lives, and look how much money they're making, and look how well I'm impacting their life and influencing them. And we're all having these breakthroughs, and I get to be rewarded for that as well. And I have so many testimonials from my clients where they share that it was my belief in them that actually accelerated their growth with impact, influence, and income. It wasn't just my belief, but it was my belief that was contagious, and that they were coachable, and I couldn't help them unless they were open to it. But I truly believed what was possible for them, because I've seen it happen over and over again. I did it for myself, and I did it for thousands of others. So how could it not work for them? And then when they had the actual courage and the confidence to use the tools and the modalities that I would bring to the table, and we would tweak and customize to them at times, their reality became their vision, and their vision became their reality in real time. It's still so cool to this day. This is how it works. This is how it happens. And I simply respond to these comments and compliments with gratitude. Of course, I receive. This is something, it's so hard for me, is to receive those compliments. But I respond with, it's a pleasure. It's an honor. And I thank you for sharing this with me. But also thank you for being coachable, for being curious, for being open, for being willing, for committing and applying what actually works. Having someone in your corner to help you take that pressure off and keep you, I guess, more so accountable to really honoring and releasing that pressure. It can be everything to what it is to have your best month, quarter, year yet, and also to maintain that for many years to come. All right, number 7, create an intentional relationship with feedback. How many get uncomfortable with feedback? How many feel confronted when they hear feedback, or maybe it's not received well, right? Because many of us aren't taught how to give feedback in a very respectful way. And sometimes we get feedback, or we're taught how to give feedback from people who weren't taught as well. So then we just end up really wonky with the conversation. So feedback, it definitely should be constructive. Like, I always like to give a couple compliments to people, and then the constructive, and then end on a compliment, so that they know that some of the things that they're doing are actually really good and they should continue those things. And here's where we can have improvement. And then again, restructure in this was so good. And this is great news that the improvement is obvious and we're aware of it. And it's going to be so simple to add in. And when we define it as constructive and we learn to take what's useful and also let go of what's not, because let's just face it, some people kind of give feedback without asking for permission, right? That's the best way to put it. I do this a lot on my coaching calls and my sales calls. I always do my best to ask for permission before sharing the truth, which is sometimes hard to say, but even harder for them to hear. But that's when breakthroughs can actually happen, is learning to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, but also honoring and releasing what isn't true or aligned to what we desire in our vision, right? So remember that your value isn't based on other people's opinions. Take nothing personally. That's in the 4 agreements, right? But on the purpose of fulfillment. So remember, your value is based on the purpose of your fulfillment and creating your life by design, by what you choose, what you commit to, not what other people think of you. We are not our thoughts. We are not other people's opinions. We are who we declare and commit to be. So what do you deserve to honor and release when it comes to this? Spend some time journaling that. Honor and release it. Thank yourself for being aware of it, and, apologize if you want to use that word, or forgive yourself for carrying it for so long. What you're not changing, you're choosing. And what is more scarier than change is regret. And I will leave you with that, because there are at least 3 steps today that I shared with you that I encourage you to actually take action on. Remember, knowledge is only potential power. If you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, this all sounds great, or yeah, I do that, or don't do that, or oh, wow, I should do that. Don't shoulda, coulda, woulda all over yourself. Grab 1 or 2 of these and use it consistently. And I guarantee your life will radically change for the better, and or you will come across more challenges to actually respond better to and shift not only your current moment or situation, but the trajectory of your life. I'm certain of it. I am so certain of it. I do this every day, right? And so grant yourself that grace, that space of really tapping into that courage to get clear on what you desire, to focus on what actually matters, and release the pressures that are holding you back from culture, from society, unspoken expectations, things that you've allowed in that for decades, or things that are really recent that you need to clean up and recommit to. The goal is to live your life from your vision, to decide from your vision, to make choices and commitments from your vision. Everything else is a no. And these are the things that will serve you, rather than chasing expectations that are set by who? Others. That is real fulfillment. Would you not agree? So don't forget that if you're a business owner or a sales professional, Sales Codes is being released officially next week. The free module, so you can have a test drive, is available now. Go snag it. It's in my links on all my social media platforms. It will be in the links of the show notes here on this podcast. And it's the best time to actually start closing with confidence, not only this year, but well into next year, taking the pressure off you and the client or the prospect. And I'm actually also giving $1,000 off to only those who are on my email list or in my community. So you'll hear me say this a few times and then you won't hear me say it at all. And that will be after the launch, right? So get in there and you know what question to ask, which is, will you or won't you? Will you or won't you? I'm sending you off with so much love. Until next time, bye for now.